Hey, what's going on there, folks? Good evening, good Saturday night. It is the Earthmaster back here on the live stream, and also with an update video here on this beautiful Saturday night, July 29th, 2023. It's about 10:48 p.m. here, California time. The stream went down just a short time ago. Had some type of power outage here in Northern California just for a short time. Everything's back up and running now. Latest activity looks like a 1.1 into Alaska. Also some movement still kicking up down here across the Middle America Trench and southward here. It looks like near the Ecuador area. Let's go ahead and check out the region down here. Let's see what we got here. Some moderate sized earthquake coming in here. Looks like some mid fives. The last one was a looks like a 5.3, 56 kilometers deep here into, well, it's just off the Cocos Ridge here, the plate boundary between this activity. Some movement, well, this is going to be the 5.3 right over here into the subduction zone level, it looks like. But there was another earthquake here earlier this morning just off the coast of Panama on that Cocos plate there. Nazca and the Cocos plate boundary, that's going to be the spot here. But we're definitely still seeing some activity ramping up here across the Nicaragua area. There is that 4.5 earthquake that came in earlier this evening, 35 kilometers deep. Did have a 5.6 a little bit further upstream here along the southern end of the Middle America Trench. So this right here still tells me that there's quite a bit of strain and stress regionally as a whole across this area. I mean, we're seeing some movement stretch out here across the plate boundary on the other side here of the Panama City area. That's where that 5.3 struck. So things are, I think, still amplified pretty nicely across that region and primed maybe for some larger scale movement. It is putting a little bit of a push over here towards the Puerto Rico area where we did see a 3.5 in the last hour. Let's go ahead and check out the EMSC map here real quick. Stand by while I pull them up. I thought I had them pulled up, but maybe I didn't. And we'll take a look at the earthquake swarm that's ongoing there across the bay down there. Hopefully this map is working tonight. Again, it doesn't look like it. I am not for sure what's going on here. Anybody else having this issue? I think it's just something to do with the EMSC model here. 9 hours ago, the last quake? I don't think so. It's a little odd. So, unfortunately, we can't check on that, at least on the world map here. On the EMSC model, yes, we can here on the globe. Still seeing some 2s and 3s in that cluster. Of course, the USGS was reporting one 4-pointer within that bay area down here into the Gulf of Fonseca area, 35 kilometers deep. I'd like to be able to pinpoint exactly where this activity is occurring, but it's kind of hard to tell just here on the globe. And with the EMSC model working or not working, then it's kind of a little bit of a pain there. But either way, I think it's pretty obvious. We just had another earthquake there. I think a 2.6 coming into that region. So things amplified. Looks like they're going to kick back up here throughout the evening with all this activity stirring up here across the Middle America Trench and the Caribbean plate. So keep an eye on that pretty closely. Down here into the, let me fix that up because it looks like there's just some huge earthquakes occurring down there. And it's not. I had to reset the earthquake 3D globe here because of that power failure just a little bit ago. But there is some 5s going on here across the Chile area, the Peru-Chile Trench, and even further south here, which we really haven't seen too much activity here across this plate boundary. The Falkland Islands area, kind of on the eastern tip here of the South America region. Kind of definitely an odd quake. Let's see what we got for historical data down here. I knew it was pretty odd because I just don't see too much activity stirring up out there within this region. Minimal at best here historically, but right around this epicenter area, not a whole lot. So that's why I say it's kind of an odd quake. We have been seeing the South Sandwich Islands stir up out here over the last week. The latest of 5.4 from late last night, 133 kilometers deep. That could be putting a little bit of the strain up here across this plate boundary, but also at the same time got to watch for some subsequent surface activity upstream here from that movement that's somewhat deep there into the trench. All right, looking at the Puerto Rico area, there's that one earthquake again in the last hour. Some 3s and 2s kicking up across the Puerto Rico region here in the last 24 hours. And this earthquake here from this morning, it looks like just around the Appalachian Mountains area, East Cleveland, Tennessee, a 2.2 coming in about 16 kilometers deep. The New Madrid seismic zone, pretty quiet. A little bit of spotty activity across Texas right now. That's the oil fields getting hit. Some movement also stirring up out here in eastern Oregon around the Blue Mountain Range. About 7 kilometers deep or so. There's quite a bit of older volcanic features out here across this area of Oregon. But for now, we got 2.1 and a 1.4. Also, Mount St. Helens over here showing a little bit of activity to the northeast. 2.2, the largest in this little earthquake activity from earlier this evening. So on that note, I do want to check out the tremor map, and also we'll check out that seismograph station. There's 125 epicenters of tremor going on across the Cascadia subduction zone. Now that's not a big number, but it is still continuing here. It's been that way over the past week or so, off and on tremor count here. And all data here shows us that we're still well below this typical average, what we see here throughout the years. We've seen some major tremor upticks, and it seems like our last one was towards October of 2022 with only very minimal tremor events here since then. So just kind of watching it, waiting for a dandy of a tremor event, but for now, some minimal activity. Mount St. Helens, let's go ahead and check out the seismicity map here on the recorded Webby quarters. That activity is stirring up, it looks like, over here in that red circle. I'm going to pull up our main station that we normally watch here within the center of this Mount St. Helens area at the crater, and see what we have here. We'll probably obviously see that 2-pointer showed up pretty nicely here. That's what that 2.2 looks like, and it looks like some other very small earthquake activity, probably 0.1 maybe, if that, showing up there as well. The previous map image not found. Okay. I do want to check out one more seismograph station here. Let's use this one up here. Sugar Bowl. All right. There is that 2-pointer showing up there as well on that station. And previous image, there's some other earthquake activity. I'm not for sure though on this. This looks like from yesterday, but it's hard to tell if these are any localized events or potentially rock falls. Who knows what? Let me check out another station here near Muddy River, East Dome, Mount St. Helens area. There's that 2-pointer, showed up much stronger here on this station. I think this station might be a little bit on the amplified side, and looks like that picked up that activity as well. So this could be some activity stirring up around the, well, there's possibly could be picking up this activity over here across Oregon from earlier, but that's a ways away for a 2.1. So I find that a little hard to believe that it's showing up that strong here. So I'll just continue to watch that. I don't think there's anything going on across the Yellowstone. Let me double check that and see what we have for the Yellowstone overview. Doesn't look like it. What is this earthquake that struck here a couple hours ago? It looks like about 4 hours ago. It looks like a distant earthquake, but it showed up somewhat large on the station here. Let's see. 5.6, possibly could have been that one. That looks like about the right timestamp here. Maybe even this 5.3. Sometimes these Yellowstone stations will pick up that long distance signature. That just goes to show you how sensitive these equipments are. This equipment is, excuse me. It's been a long day, definitely a long day. So what else we got here across Yellowstone? As far as local activity goes, maybe a handful of smaller quakes throughout the last 24 hours, but that's about it. Let's go ahead and check out Northern California here. Been having some activity off the coast of Oregon earlier today. 4.4 and a couple other 2s down here. No noticeable uptick here across Oregon, but we are seeing the slight activity here across the Northern California region. Some of the activity deeper into the subduction zone of the Cascadia, which of course sits offshore. Further right you go here on the map, so to speak, on the subduction zone, the deeper these quakes would be. 27 kilometer deep, 1.8 the latest in that area. Also some movement showing up here in Nevada within the last hour. Looks like a 1.4 outside of Reno, 1.6. Both of these earthquakes here within minutes of each other, so it looks like things are starting to stir up out here across the west coast. Bay Area fairly quiet, a little spotty as we get through Central California. Down in Southern Cal, a couple smaller quakes there on the San Jacinto fault zone. One area that I've seen very minimal activity at best is the Elsinore fault. It really hasn't shown anything. Let me double check the maps here and see what we got. For it being a major fault and it being fairly active in months past, it is sure quiet right now. That does stretch into the Los Angeles area, and of course all the way down south here into very southern portion of the state of California. So that's very quiet for now. Most activity has been on the San Jacinto fault zone, and really no swarms kicking up here across the San Andreas fault for now. But as always, continue to watch that and have a plan. Alaska area seen some movement way up north. I believe this was from most of this was from earlier today. It looks like around noontime. Did see a 4.0 up here. Brooks Range area around the Arctic Village. That sounds nice right about now. I wouldn't mind some cooler temperatures. A little scattered activity here across Anchorage, getting a little cluster north of Anchorage here. Have to keep an eye on that. Also some movement here across the Aleutian Trench. The Kuril-Kamchatka Trench, very quiet. Look at the Mariana Trench and the areas around Taiwan. Very quiet out here in the Western Pacific right now. We did see that 4.6 way earlier this morning. Let me check the earthquake 3D globe here, see if we're missing anything. Nope. Verified quietness out here tonight, or at least in the last 24 hours. Only one earthquake here across the New Zealand area. This one's a deep one. A 4.3 showing up there on the globe. USGS, not a thing. So let's go check out the GeoNet servers here, and we'll see if we can't find out what's going on there. Pretty deep earthquake. I believe that's going to be associated with the Hikurangi subduction zone. But we'll see here. 2.1, 2.9, 2.2, 2.5. That looked like a fairly new earthquake on there too, but I'm not seeing it show up here across the GeoNet servers. It's possible. Could it got deleted? I don't know. It's weird, but I'm not seeing it. Huh, let me see if it's actually a legit earthquake, right? We'd be able to see it on the earthquake drums here. A 4-pointer. Definitely some activity stirring up here across the seismograph stations. Now, the northern edge of the North Island, right? You think it would pick up that earthquake. It looks like it's centered here, even though it's a deep earthquake here off the coast of North Island, 4.3. We should be able to see it across the North Island area, and I'm not seeing anything. I think that's a fake earthquake, phantom earthquake. And it looks pretty recent here. Let's see when the timestamp was. 8:20, so that was literally just 3 hours ago here, my time. And as you can see, I don't know if that was it. That's about 4 hours or so ago. But that didn't even really show up here across any of these seismograph stations. So I'm uncertain on if that is a legit earthquake or not there that the EMSC is reporting. They've been a little flip-floppity here recently with their reporting. But we are seeing that Jackson Bay earthquake activity ramping back up here again tonight. Notice that movement kicking up here across the South Island area of New Zealand, just off the Alpine Fault. Now that activity, see if that was felt here across the area of the New Zealand region. That's going to be some of this activity right here. 3.7. That was from June 21st. Whoa. Okay. So maybe it's some of these down here. June 29th, July 8th. Let me see if any of these were reported here. It looks like the majority of those quakes are too small to be felt. So you have to look at the unnoticed earthquake activity here around South Island. And looks like that's 2.5 there, just off the Alpine Fault 2 hours ago. And looks like another 2.6 3 hours ago there. So some activity stirring up around the Jackson Bay area, South Island, New Zealand. That was swarming, I believe, last night a little bit. Took a break throughout the day, and now it's back up to swarming here. So we'll definitely watch that closely for some movement. But as you can see, for the most part, the Western Pacific out here is relatively quiet. Very quiet. Some deeper movement quakes going on across the Indonesia area, working its way up around the plate boundary. This has been somewhat quiet here recently, so it's starting to work a little further up into the China region, where we did see some 4s across the Mediterranean here. Here's that 6.8. I don't know what's going on with that. When was that supposedly? 9/11? Now, this is kind of odd because these seismograph stations here, I think a 6.8 would definitely show up here across any seismograph station, right? Even the New Zealand area. So the GeoNet, or not GeoNet, but the EMSC models have been a little on the misinforming side, because I don't believe that was a legit earthquake, a 6.8. I believe it's putting out some type of make sure I have my bells on for later for the live stream. But I believe it's putting out some fake earthquakes there, and that's not cool. I do not like that. Remember last week it was thrown out a 6-pointer here across this area. And there's really nothing I can do to it unless I take it off, unless I take off the EMSC model from the globe. And then we're left just with the USGS. So just, you know, for the most part, the moderators and whatnot in here will pinpoint that 6.8 and recognize that as a false earthquake, or a phantom earthquake, technically an error on the EMSC part, because that 6.8, no joke, would show up very strong across the region of, you know, New Zealand. As far as the seismograph readings go, it would show up on Yellowstone, and it's, you know, it's just not. I didn't see it anywhere. I don't think that was a legit earthquake. USGS not reporting it, and that was the same for you know, last week when they said a 6-pointer hit there. So I don't know what's going on with the EMSC. They got a little bit of craziness going on with their website currently. Hopefully they get it fixed, but ignore that 6.8. All right, see what else we got here. Hawaii lighting up here slightly in the last hour. Quite a few 2s kicking up here. The last one there at Kilauea Volcano. It's going to be a 2.8 just outside of the rim, Crater Rim Drive. Now the latest informational statement there from the HVO. Basically about the same. This was just a few days ago that Kilauea Volcano is currently not erupting. And, well, since the pause back on the 19th, we haven't really seen any significant changes. No major earthquake swarms, no elevated tilt data. Down here across the Pahala area, a little bit of movement in the last hour, kind of stretching out towards the Loihi Seamount, but that's about it. I mean, there's really not a whole lot of major movement going on across the big island for now. Yeah, that just bugs me. Why is that happening, and why is it always right there? This seems to be the spot that they always put that fake earthquake of. It's Spain. What's going on out there in Spain right now? Probably nothing, but EMSC is wanting to throw up some large earthquakes for that area, but they're literally not legit. That's why I ran this stream for years just with the USGS data on here. But if we take off the EMSC from the globe, then we miss out on all the earthquake activity here that's swarming across the bay down here, where obviously there's something going on. We need to be informed of what's going on. And the earthquake activity, the swarms and whatnot on the globe, give us a good perspective of potential migration and intensity as far as the swarm goes across that area of the Gulf of Fonseca. So that's why I'm going to keep them on there. Hopefully they get that issue fixed there, that 6.8. The Atlantic Ocean, a couple twos out there around the Azores area. But aside from that, let's see what else we got going on. Just a little quiet out here across the Western Pacific. We'll definitely keep an eye on things tonight. Do have all the seismograph stations keyed up here. A little small earthquake there across Barrett in Southern California. I think we've seen that show up on the map here. Looks like a little 1.3 stirring up there within the last couple minutes. They're also on the chart. 558, 2258. There's your little 1.3. Sometimes this area does swarm pretty good, and no earthquakes will be reported out here. But either way, watch the West Coast. I mean, I think we're in that teeter-totter event right now. Do have another earthquake here into, let's see, when was this? This came in, yeah, just within the last half hour or so, along the Middle America Trench. Like I say, I still think there's a potential for some larger scale activity here, specifically across this region, due to all the swarming, due to all the increasing larger activity around that Bay region as well. So just a heads up, stay safe out there. And I gotta get rid of that 6.8. It's just bugging me. All right, solar wave. Let's see. Yeah. Let's check out space weather activity here real quick. I'm about ready for bed. I'm not even joking. Still seeing 99% chance here. Protons, I would say 100% chance right now. Still affecting the areas greatly across the polar regions there. The ionosphere having some radio blackouts, communication blackouts there from that proton event, which was stirred up here from a large plasma eruption a couple days ago. But that still was powerful enough to send a whole bunch of protons our way and create this type of environment. I don't know how long it's going to stay like this. Last time we had a significant proton event, it lasted, I think, for about 4 days. So hopefully we'll see if this quiets down tomorrow or not. But that is your look here across the area, the D region absorption predictions, a DRAP map. Here's the frequency responses here, mostly in the lower range, 5 to 10. I believe that's shortwave radio, if I'm correct. I don't do a whole lot of shortwave radio communications there, but 5 MHz, maybe 5 to 10 MHz being affected. All right, see what we got for flaring activity here. We do have a pretty massive area across the eastern limb of the sun that throwing up a whole bunch of magnetic lines. We'll definitely watch that here in the coming days. Let's see if we got a visual of it right now. A little newer sunspot coming around the bend. This is all part of a sunspot train, so to speak. This one here in the middle, this one was just a baby a couple days ago here. Remember watching it? It's grown dynamically. Looks like it is starting to get a little complex. We'll watch that because that's venturing right center disk directly facing us, you know, as far as the Earth-Sun plane goes. And, you know, perfectly lined up here. If that thing were to blast off any CME, it would definitely be geo-effective. Also watch this region down here. It's getting a little bit more complex. We'll take a look at these tomorrow morning. Hopefully we'll get a little bit better perspective of those sunspots. Not a whole lot going on for the auroras for now. At least the forecast goes. A slight uptick here, at least on the aurora from the NOAA Space Weather Prediction Center, showing some slight possibilities up there across Canada and down into Antarctica. Well, just off the coast of Antarctica. Probably a little cold down there. I don't know if I'd be out sightseeing at night down there. All right, Storm Prediction Center. Not a whole lot of severe weather coming up here. I don't see any moderate risk days. No major severe weather outbreak, which is good. Yeah, alrighty, folks. I am going to jump off here, and again, live stream is up and running. I had a slight power failure earlier this evening and rebooted everything, so I just waited for a little bit until it came back up and just made sure that that it was going to stay up. So looks like everything is good now on the live stream. Make sure you guys subscribe. If you're not subscribers, please tune in. If you do like the videos that we provide out here, then give us a like. That definitely helps us out far as the YouTube algorithms go. Not even joking. You know, I think more YouTube channels would agree that they would rather have likes from their from their viewers, more so than donations, because that does help out with the YouTube algorithms in terms of getting videos out there across the YouTube world. So we appreciate the likes and the subscribers. We're getting close to 100,000. I think we're going to hit it, hopefully, by the end of August, and then we'll get our big drawing underway. In the meantime, have a good night. Stay safe out there, and we will chat you guys sometime tomorrow morning. Enjoy your Saturday night or early Sunday morning or wherever you guys are located. Take care, folks.